on to what you guys are here for. My guest today, my rock star guest. In the early 2000s, as the mainstream music industry began its digital unraveling, a parallel network of underground and independent scenes emerged that redefined what it meant to make it in rock music. Bands like Underoath became central to that shift, part of what critics and fans alike called post hardcore, a genre where melodic hooks coexisted with screamed catharsis, and emotional vulnerability became a form of resistance against the sanitized pop culture of the Bush era 2000s. My guest today, Aaron Gillespie, was both a witness and an architect of that transformation. As the drummer and vocalist of Underoath, he helped shape a sound that was once a spiritual searching and sonically confrontational, a soundtrack for a generation caught between faith, disillusionment, and the commodification of subculture. While Gillespie remains the only original member of Underoath, for most fans, the band's breakthrough album, They're Only Chasing Safety in 2004, was the entry point, an explosive mix of chaos and melody that catapulted them from the fringes of Christian hardcore into the mainstream of alternative music. But like so many artists from that era, Gillespie's story is also one of adaptation in the face of the industry's changing demands on creativity. His later project, The Almost, marked a move away from the aggression of Underoath and toward more melodic, reflective songwriting, an evolution that mirrored the growing pains of an aging scene and an industry rapidly losing its infrastructure. I first met Aaron 20 years ago at the Almost debut show at Chain Reaction in Anaheim, a small venue that for a time represented the beating heart of an underground network before streaming platforms replaced regional scenes. 2 decades later, Aaron continues to reinvent himself as a producer, songwriter, and still a touring musician with Underoath, now performing to packed venues filled with both older fans and newer listeners. In a time when music is endlessly fragmented and authenticity is algorithmically packaged and sold, Aaron Gillespie's career offers a rare continuity. It's a story about survival, adaptation, and the enduring power of songs that speak to something deeper than the marketplace. So sit back as we talk about the business of art, the politics of identity in heavy music, and what it means to keep creating in an industry that's constantly remaking itself. Please welcome my guest today, Aaron Gillespie.
Damn, dude.
How was that?
That was pretty cool. I like the music too. Shit.
Oh, that's all me. That's all me.
Oh, you do the music too?
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. Look at you go.
I gotta do all this, right? I'm
I
gonna get
mean, a lot
copyright.
of people don't put that kind of work into something, so I really appreciate it, man.
Well, we come from a certain world of do it yourself, figure it out, you'll get there.
I've been thinking about that a lot lately, like DIY being the thing, but I feel like there should be another adjective to put on it, like homegrown or something. I find myself in this room.
Mhm.
This is on Music Row in Nashville, and I make music. I make the bulk of the music that I make now in my life is for other people, and I'll go work somewhere on a given day, like a different studio. This is like the city of a million studios,
Yes, it is.
I'll go work at a different studio one day,
Mhm.
and I find people using AI programs to make songs, like, production-wise, and that's fine, whatever, but I still there's, like, this homegrown element to people our age specifically that grew up the way that we did
Mhm.
the way that we did, where I still, like, down to the nuts and bolts in the minutia of recording music, I'll play, like, a real tambourine on a chorus of a song as opposed to pulling one off of Splice. Um,
Oof.
there's like we have that thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, I find that even when we make Under Oath music, there's a homegrown nature to it where normally you'd say DIY, but I think homegrown's a set of adjectives now, because it's like everything is so accessible to make digitally or with some different form of AI. So that felt very like that. So I think it's cool.
Well, also too, there was a time where you didn't have things like Splice or AI to get you started, and if you didn't
No.
have the thing to make the sound, you had to figure out how to make the sound. I remember many, God, this is 30 plus years ago, trying to record some music, and we couldn't get a good drum sound
Mm.
out of this shitty Casio keyboard that we had, and it
Oh,
was a pen hitting a box.
sure.
That was the sound that we were looking for.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like that level of ingenuity is, I think, that what you're talking about. And maybe some people call it authenticity, but
Well, I think that's what separates the records. And I feel like there's some sort of groundswell resurgence thing now of this style of record being made, but like you had to like use a tape delay to make something sound a certain type of delay.
Mhm.
You had to have your friend on the floor in the studio turning the knobs of the pedals to do, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
to do the thing. And it's so simple now to like there's a plugin for everything. There's a plugin that will just make something lo-fi. Back in the day, you had to get an EQ pedal out and scoop all the frequencies out. So it's just. But I think there is a weird resurgence of like weird isn't even the right word, but like there's a really refreshing resurgence of garage bands. Like
Mhm.
there's sort of a thing going on here in the States, at least, where, and I'm sure all over the world, where there's people like making like 90s shoegaze rock and roll. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the funny part about that shit is I think it's because of social media. Like the Deftones are having this massive resurgence right now.
Crazy resurgence.
Crazy resurgence. It's because allegedly, and I'll admittedly say I don't like I have this defunct TikTok that I've used twice because I just hated the platform.
Mhm,
Um, but apparently it's because someone was putting on their makeup to Change, which is a
mhm.
30-year-old song. Apparently that's the thing that like blew it up. But because of that resurgence, I feel like you've got all these bands now popping up going, "Oh, I want to do that type of sound. I want to make that type of music," which I don't think can really be made with AI yet. I think you have to sort of, especially that type of vocal and that shoegazy long melody type of thing. I don't think AI can't come alongside that yet.
Well, do you think there's also a certain element of originality in the music that you're talking about? So, for example, um, there's this show that we're doing is like a series on shows that I do with different musicians where I kind of poke fun at genre monikers because I'm not the biggest fan of them.
Yeah, same.
Um, so if we say post-hardcore, right? I don't think you walked around as a 20-year-old man when and you didn't say this when I met you. Like, I'm in a post-hardcore band.
Oh, I didn't. If I'm honest with you, I don't know that I heard that phrase until maybe 10 years ago. I mean, of course I heard it, but I don't think that I put any mental stock in it until
Yeah,
maybe 10 years ago. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Of course, because it's silly. I don't think people sit around. There's serious people that are good sit around and try to make post-hardcore, whatever the hell that is.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
But the music that comes out of that moment where there might be similarities because copycats have existed since music has been recorded,
Yeah.
but the kind of originators and people that are still relevant today have to have their own sound. And if we take one of the shows we were talking off air that I saw you at, I think it was Under Oath and Taking Back Sunday.
And I thought about that during the intro, and the opener would have been Armor for Sleep.
Armor for Sleep.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That would
I
have been
don't
2006.
Was that
Yeah,
'06?
that was '06. That tour was in '06. When the intro was going on, I was Googling and didn't have any
Do
success, but
you remember that after that, the tour went to Reno, and then I met you guys up in Reno,
yeah, I do.
and it met up with, the Black Parade people,
Uh,
My Chemical Romance.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I don't think you can take all those bands and throw them into an AI and get the same thing because they're just so different.
It being a being a full-time songwriter or whatever that means, but, like, doing this, 5 days a week and sometimes 6 and all the and even when I'm on the road, people ask a lot now,
Mhm.
"Are you worried about AI?" Like, that's a big ask now, and the way that I answer that question is sort of a a a a brother or sister to what you just said, like, you can only make AI can only make something that exists, that pre-exists. It can only go algorithmically search and amalgamate something out of something that already exists. And my goal every day in this room, in any other room I'm in making music, is to make something that's never been made.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
think at the time, at that time, 20 years ago, that was still the goal. And it's really difficult now being, and I hate this word, but it's just the truth about my life. My day job, I'm a commercial songwriter,
Mhm.
and I still really desperately dig, especially on the sonics of something
Mhm.
and on the lyric of something and the arrangement of something, just to make sure that this is itself.
Mhm.
But especially in those early days of self-discovery, you're 21 years old or whatever, like, the biggest thing then was, like, to do your own thing, and
Thank you.
I think it came out of necessity, Jason.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
think it was because, if we could have been as good as band X or band Y, maybe we would have, but it was more like when you're coming up in that era, you learned how to play together, literally, like,
Mhm.
become proficient at your instrument, and you learned how to put songs together, and a lot of times, what people heard was you making your way through musical adolescence. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense, and I was thinking about this as we were getting ready to do this show because what the internet has done for someone like yourself, and I don't know if you ever have time to go and look at this stuff, um, a b a all of your youth that someone can upload. and and
I
and, lu- and luckily, like a lot of it was before camera phones, right? The ubiquity of camera phones. So these are like people that had VHS camcorders in some, little venue
Oh,
or
yeah.
a basement thing, and
Yep.
it's like Under Oath in 1997,
Mhm,
and you're a teen.
mhm.
And what you're talking about, I think, is interesting because we don't look at people as teens. Like no one looks at Metallica's first record. Oh, it's a masterpiece. It's the greatest metal. It's like, do you look at it as kids because they're 18, 19-year-old
Children.
kids?
Yeah.
They're super young. Um, and you're talking about having this maturation kind of in private, if you will, right? I mean, you're doing it in front of people, but they're probably around the same age as you. Your goals aren't the same when you're 16 that they are when you're 16 in 2025 because now
That's such a man, that sentence, we could burn this hour on that sentence, but go ahead. Yeah.
but like I don't know if you ever trip off this when you're coming up and I know you're from Clearwater from
Mhm.
the Tampa area.
Yep.
There's other bands in that area and you're looking at those other bands in that area and you're like, man, if we could just get to venue X and play with band X, dude, I'd be so happy.
Totally.
Who is doing that now? Because that aspect of a lot of the industry is gone. These like incubator venues where kids can just go and suck for a minute,
That's the soul of it. It
right?
we didn't compare ourselves. God, dude, my brain is in 1,000 directions because of everything you just said, but we didn't compare ourselves to, we didn't go like, "Oh, we wanna be Metallica or Nirvana."
No.
Like, of course, you heard those things. I
Mhm,
mean, we're humans
mhm,
that make music, but you compared yourself, you're exactly right, to band X or Y that was playing at this place called the State Theater, which is now defunct. I wish I could have purchased it. But anyways, that was like the the Madison Square Garden of our area. And I think it holds like, gosh, maybe 5 or 600 people, you
mhm.
know? and it was disgusting. Sticky, sticky floor, the whole thing.
Gross bathrooms. Yeah.
Oh, dude, like yeah, yes.
Mhm.
But we compared ourselves to those bands, and I think that's a really healthy
Mhm.
comparison.
Mhm.
I think it was really healthy for us to go, and these were people just like us. They were maybe a couple years older, and if you would have told me then, your local show will now be 10,000 tickets at the basketball arena, I would go, "You're high, and I have no interest in that." Like,
Yeah.
not only are you high, but I don't wanna do that. I want all my friends to think that what we make is cool, and what cool means to me now at 42 is something that's viable socially and ethically and feels real. That's
Mhm.
what cool meant then to me. Now that I can kind of dissect what cool meant to me 20 years ago. Now, like, I sit in this room on a regular basis and I am fed people so my publisher
Mhm.
and management and everything is upstairs in this building. And I get people sent down here that are hyper talented, young people. I mean, people of all walks of life,
Yeah.
but a lot of young people that have a shiny record deal and money and have never played a show. And that to me, and I'll tell these people straight up to their face, so I don't mind saying it on the record,
Mhm.
that's really scary.
Mhm.
Like, you're gonna go play football and you've never held a football. You're gonna get fucking railed. You know what I mean?